So can everyone hear me now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. They can hear you.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to be sure. So thanks everyone for having me back again. It's a pleasure. I know last time we were talking about technopreneurship because it is necessary for people that are in coding. This is a very important course for you guys. It's not just building from the back end. A lot of you will end up having applications that will be groundbreaking. That will change the course of time, that will change the way people do things. And some of you could even end up owning a unicorn company. So if you don't get it from the initial basic, from a business perspective, it is also necessary for what's it called, tech people to know. And you have seen cases, you've heard about Facebook, how it all started, how some of the founders were kicked out. And so that is why we now have to, there's this ecosystem where we have technology coming to mix up with entrepreneurship, because some people will be like, oh, I'm very good at coding, and they ignore the business side of it. So that's why I'm doing this. It's supposed to, like span for 12 weeks. That's the initial course, like navigating the tech ventures. That's the whole topic. So last time we talked about technopreneurship, we talked about the definitions and everything that you needed to know from the basic, as an entrepreneur. But today we're going to be doing something different, which is the next phase, because this is where a lot of you are building. Last time I heard about your applications, and I felt this will be a good topic to talk about before you keep, building or making mistakes. And yeah, so we could be able to go back to the drawing board. So today we'll focus more on identifying and evaluating what's it called, tech opportunities. And when we're talking about this, we'll be uncovering the opportunities for technological advancements. We will look at market research. We would also talk about financial feasibility, because a lot of people have ideas that, technically, financially, it is impossible. So this is where we will be, dealing with so much. Yeah, I need to admit some people in here. Yeah, okay. Admit, oh, yes. So that is what we will be looking out for. So I'm just gonna go start because we don't have much time. So first here we go to market research, right? A lot of you might have been hearing the word market research, but it is very important, for everyone to know about market research, whether you are in the business field or you are in the tech field or you are a salesperson, you need to have a market research. So for us, we say market research involves the gathering and analyzing of data about specific markets to identify opportunities for a new or improved technology. So it could be existing technologies. So market research is like a systematic gathering, recordings, analyzing data about market, about your customers, about your competitors, and even about a whole industry. So you're not narrowed to say because there is Apple, nobody can build something better. There are people that, they benchmark a little bit, they create technologies that are even better than what Apple is doing. Maybe their positioning, it's not very successful in terms of distribution of the product and reaching to their end users. There are some wonderful applications on App Store, Play Stores that are very fantastic. They do better than Facebook. They have features that Facebook don't even have, but maybe because they did not do the proper research to say, where will I sell this? Am I going to have a niche market? Am I going to benchmark? Am I going to fight with Facebook? There are so many other social media spaces that people don't even know about. It's not like we only have Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and all. There are lots of social media spaces. So this is just an example. And it is very important for every entrepreneur, for every tech person to conduct research. For instance, you want to build an application, a mobile application, or you want to build a software, whatever it is, you must be able to identify is there a problem? This is where we first of all say, before we create any business, there must be a problem that we want to solve, or there must be a solution, or we want to do things better, like from our previous, we want to enhance the way people communicate, or I want to help blind people to be able that they could hear, have a software that can be able, without even seeing, they can be able to visualize things from, or interpret their dreams. What's Meta it's doing now with the Meta, Google, right? We could be able to interpret our dreams. So this is where you go back and you start analyzing, researching, is someone else doing what I'm about to do? Because sometimes we feel like our ideas are fantastic. Whatever you have out there, someone else is already doing it. So it's either you're coming out to do it better, or you're coming out to improve it, or you want to compete. So you need to know. So you need to analyze the whole industry. And when we look at the importance of market research, why is it important? It informs you on your decision, your business decision. It helps you to keep you informed about your products, about the development, about your marketing strategies, and also your resource allocation, how you're going to budget teams and who are you going to watch your team building. All of this, it's when you do a proper market research, you can be able to analyze this. And then secondly, it helps you to minimize risk. So it reduces the chances of investing in a product or technology or building a software that you cannot even sell. Sometimes a lot of us have done that. You build things that at the end of the day, from an investor perspective, they will ask you questions and say, so who's going to use it? Is it feasible? How is it realistic? How am I going to get my money from this other end? Because that is what people want to know. It's not about it is wonderful for you, it might be wonderful, but for somebody else, you're not solving their problem. For your customers, especially, because customers are very important. And it also helps you to identify your customers' needs. So with this, it gives you an insight, an overall insight of what your customer wants. What is trending, what will lead to a more successful product launch. Okay. So when you do this, you're able to get all of these answers with a proper market research. So that's why we say market research, it involves you gathering information. It could be shuffling the internet, reading about competitors and, other things that you need to do. You could be, going to get hard copy, trying people's products. Some people do market intelligence by trying their competitors' product and using it to see how they can make it better. Okay, so all of these factors, you are gathering information. You could even, later I will talk about the ways where we gather market research. You could even make your customers or your people try out your product and ask them, what if I come up with something like this? It could be a questionnaire and all. So we have various types of market research. It's my screen showing there. No, I need to share the screen again. Okay. So I'm just gonna say, yes. Okay. Sorry, guys. So it's coming up. The screen is okay. All right, it's coming up now. Okay. Yeah. So there are various types of market research. And then we have the primary, we have the secondary, we have the qualitative and quantitative market research. So we always do this. Like even today, I was talking to a client that wants to go to Ghana to sell footwears. So what did I do? I had to contact the chambers and commerce in Ghana to be able to get statistics, real-time statistics, because sometimes what we get on the internet doesn't match. Sometimes it could be previous informations, like the last statistic I was able to get about the shoe industry was from 2021. So that is a little bit outdated. I really want to know what is the statistics. And I went further to check the percentage of Indonesian exportation to Ghana. So now I'm researching, shuffling the internet just to be able to get this customer, because that is the first stage we handle when it comes, any company comes to you and say, I want to go to Africa. So we need to know, what are your products? We need to shuffle. Is there a need for this product in Africa? Are there competitors that are strong? What are the pricing strategies to be able to compete with local competitors? We know we have to gather all of this information so we don't push someone to Africa and then they are unable to make sales. So when we look at primary research, it involves collecting data directly from original sources, right? From surveys, from interviews, from observations. So what I did today was more of a primary research because I had to contact the Ghana Chambers and Commerce directly to set up a meeting so I can be able to get first-hand information on their market in terms of the shoe industry, okay? If there are potential buyers, what are the statistics? Are people really importing shoes to Ghana? Is there regulations that would, cause any blockheads that we would face in future? And then we look at the secondary data. We have to utilize existing data, like I said. I went to other statistics that gave me information on, okay? Okay. So I was able to get information on the shoe market from statistics from people from World Trade Organization, from different sources to be able to analyze. And then we have the qualitative, focus on understanding customers, what's their attitude, their motivation, their behavior through open-ended questions or discussions. So this is where we have a questionnaire. When sometimes you see questionnaires popping up, sometimes it could be customer satisfaction survey that comes to you. Maybe it's from your Instagram. Sometimes you visit websites and they ask you questions. Some people intentionally send questionnaires to their existing customers. Why? Even before I started building my e-commerce platform that will be launched in 2024, we had to do an in-depth market research. We sent questionnaires to Nigerian traders because they are going to be part of our wholesalers buying from Nigeria. We needed to understand their technology awareness, their behavior towards technology. We needed to understand if they will be able to use the app, because we're not building the app for ourselves. They might not be so technology inclined like myself or my team. So we needed to understand them. We needed to know how many clicks they will need to be able to upload their product. Will it be difficult for them to use these technologies? And we also need to answer some of their challenges. And we had an open-ended questions whereby we gave them an option to say, what do you need us to do? Would you want this to happen? So they could be able to type. And we had to analyze this data as a team, from the front end, from the back end, from the UI UX perspective as well. So everybody had to, is it realistic? How can we be able to solve this problem? Because we were not just building an app. E-commerce is already existing, but we are trying to do something different, right? And these are the people, these are our target audience. So qualitative gives you the opportunity before you even start to build any mobile application. Please try to send out, even if you have a small group of people, maybe 30, it is enough for you to build a questionnaire and send to your friends, family, or the targeted people. Maybe you're building application for schools or you're building for hospitals. You should be able to send, go to those hospitals physically, talk to a doctor, talk to a nurse. It could be a form of interview. Okay, and say, doctor, I'm building an application, a mobile app for a hospital. This is what I'm doing. This is what do you think about this idea? Would you be able, and then you could just, mind map and show them the process, the flow, the user flow. That, I want a situation whereby as a doctor, you do this, you do that, so they can be able to give you an insight and say, oh, I think that will be hectic. The Nigerian, this thing, it's not like a foreign, they will give you all of the reasons why. Sometimes some of your application you might be building might have, maybe you're building like an application that has to do with lots of storage. People need to download all those kind of things. So you need to watch out for the memory space of users in Nigeria, the kind of phones they use. Do they have access to pay for cloud storage to be able to store data based on the kind of application you're building for them, right? So that is why it is essential. And then when we have about the quantitative research method, it involves numerical data, statistical analysis, to draw what conclusion. So 2 years ago, I always, when it comes to big companies, when we're involved in research with big companies, we have to go to, like 6 months gathering research information. Sometimes it takes up to 2 years. So iPhone 16 will be coming up next year. iPhone has already started collecting data last year prior to development of this. They have a feedback, people leave comments, they are responding to their algorithms, collecting everything people are saying about iPhone 15 currently, and these are what they will take back, and then they will now put it into statistics, based on, for examples, how would you love to buy an iPhone 16? Do you have an existing one? So when they get all the statistics from the sales point of view, maybe 3 billion people got iPhone 15. So they would use statistics and numerical data to be able to read this, and they will even draw hypotheses to say, we're going to research the likelihood of introducing maybe a retina. We already have the retina eye scanner, whatever. It could be a voice recognition to unlock phones, right? Since we now have them for other devices, it will just be unlock, and then your phone, will just unlock, something like that. So they could be, researching on this data, and then they could draw hypotheses and say, will people be able to use this, and then they will build a questionnaire, send it to people. Apple and big companies pay people to answer questions. So it's not like it is free for them, because they are spending billions, millions of dollars involved in research. It is very expensive for the quantitative research, but you could also do it from a small scale perspective, okay? So people now pay people to say, partake in this particular research. Even the clothing industry does that. Clothing businesses like Zara, H&M, if you watch the video from Inditex, they invite women, guys, they come up to their factory, and then they fit these clothes, and then they walk on the runway to see how comfortable it is for them before you even see it on the store. So they do that often to be able to, you don't just sew clothes. Is it comfortable? How do you feel the whole day? They allow people to use the clothes and give them feedback, but they are being paid. These people are being paid to use those products. It's not for free, to become a specimen, we say, right, for their experiments. So that is what we call quantitative research method. So you can do it from a small scale perspective. You draw up a questionnaire, you look at previous data, and then you gather information. You tell people to, fill up the questionnaires. When you get those questionnaires, you use what is called an SPPS statistic tool to be able to analyze the data. A lot of you know what is mean, median, all those kind of things, right? The mode and all of that. You just need to get all of this. That's what we call statistical and numerical data. You can use pie charts to see how people are responding. You could use, so you could get the media and the mean for how many male, how many female, you understand? So this gives you an instance for demographics and all. And then you could go further to analyze other statistical data by trying to answer what you're exactly looking for based on your research, right? So we have the market research process. There are different ways that we conduct this research. First, we have to, identify our objective. You have to know, what exactly am I doing? So there are different objectives. Secondly, you will collect data. Why, when we say the objective, why are you conducting the research, right? You want to find out about how would people use my software that I'm building? How will people respond to this mobile application or whatever I'm doing currently now? And then you collect data, appropriate data, surveys, like we said, and then you analyze, you evaluate, you interpret them. From there, you will be able to identify opportunities. For instance, if I give out souvenirs, and then from the demographic perception, I could see that a lot of women are interested in my product. That is already a good goal, because if you say gender, you just put male and female, right? And then if you notice that 80% of the participants are female, you will now understand that your target audience are leaning towards the female genders. This gives you clarity. And then you use the age gap again as well. You say, from age this to this, age that to that. We normally go from 20 to 30 or 30 to 35, just like that, up to 60. So if you notice that the age range falls around maybe 20 to 40, you now understand your target audience. So this will even help your marketing team to be able to know who they are targeting when they are putting out their, what's it called? Their promotional campaigns. They know who they are targeting, right? And then also it gives you can also put income level, because the application you're building, it's not for free. You need money. So you were asking people, would you be able, how much is your income level? So this, you could understand the people that were able to answer your questions when they were talking about your application. These are their income range. So you would know when you're building the app, you would not go outside the box, because the data, you cannot change the data, right? If the people that answered from your questionnaire, from the demographic questionnaire, before you even ask them the real question, their income range is around $200 to $500. And then you're now building, and they were able to answer your questions from your application. And then when you see the income range that 200 to 500 have 50%, and then maybe 1,000 to 1 million above only have 2 people, would you want to build an application that would only target 2 customers? Of course, no. You would rather go for 200 to 500 because you already have this data. So that is why we say it is very, very important for you to identify and do this research. This will help you have a clear objective. It will help you identify opportunities. It will help you pinpoint on opportunities for technological advancement. And then you could also get recommendations, you understand, in terms of the product development and also improvements. So this is all that would happen when you do your market research, okay? And then also when we do market research, it could also help us with new products, right? We conduct marketing research because we're launching a new product. And also it could also be for market expansion. Like what I said today, lots of companies are trying to expand into Africa, right? They need to research. They will be very successful in Indonesia, but they might not be successful in Nigeria if they fail to be, before they even move. We will do the research, we test the waters, we get feedback, we try the product. So all of this is part of the research that we are gathering data. So at the end of 1 year, we go back to the circle and say, since we have been sending your product to Nigeria, people have been complaining about the price. Maybe it is better for you to manufacture in Nigeria, or look for a partner in Nigeria that has exactly what you're doing, and then invest. It's the same thing. You could still expand in that way. You could go in as an investor, right? There is a company that produces plastic in Nigeria. You could come up with a go green or whatever disposable plastic strategy, and then invest in their technology. So instead of the company setting up, they can invest in another company in Nigeria to cut down costs and still gain market share. All right. So if you look, like I said before, when we look at the case study of Apple, you could see that Apple is one company that research and development is one of their key, innovation. They invest on that. Even if they copy paste, like we said, they are looking out for their competitors. Whatever Samsung does, they will do it better, or they will just look for Xiaomi or Oppo or whatever, and then copy paste, right? It's that simple sometimes, but they will improve the technology, or they will come up with something better than what the competitors are doing. So a lot of people slam whenever there's a new iPhone, or you go to the comment section, you see people slamming it. They didn't do anything. Samsung already did this. You hear all of that, right? They just improved it. That's all. That's all they have to do. Just improve the technology and still make money out of it, right? So market research, it is very crucial for every one of you. It will help you a lot. It will help to inform you about your decision, reluctant risk that you will be taking in terms of meeting your customers' needs. So next, we are talking about the idea creation and screening techniques, okay? Everybody has an idea, right? Where we're talking about you're unleashing your innovative concept for success. It will focus on generative, creative ideas and how effectively you can be able to screen this idea and select the most promising ones for further development. Okay, so when we look at idea creation, what are we talking about? Idea creation involves brainstorming, right? It involves creating a pool of potential tech concepts. Also, if we look at it, it involves the creating, developing, formulating, new concepts, solutions, or possibilities, and addressing to specific problems or opportunities that are already there, right? So why is it important for us to generate ideas? This will help you to drive innovation. It promotes the development of unique and incentive solutions to challenges, right? It enhances your competitiveness, okay? So it enables a company to stay ahead of your competitors. That's what it also helps you to fuel growth. It helps for your new product development, for your services, and even for your business venture, right? So even when you have an idea already, you still have to still brainstorm to create more ideas. Nobody is an island. Every day we have to grow. Whether your first product is a cash cow, somebody can benchmark you. So for you to stay up to your game at every point in time, you have to be what? Creative. So you have to be coming up with new concept, new ideas, how to improve your product, right? All the time. And this has to do with lots of brainstorming. You have to have the problem solving skills. And then you don't have to create just one idea. Even when you have existing, you can create thousands of ideas and then screen them to help you evaluate which one will best fit for your either your existing product or your new product. So we have various techniques, like for me, I use various techniques for idea generation, which is we have the brainstorming. Later, I would show you about the mind mapping. We have the scamper techniques. It's a 7 prompts technique where we substitute, we combine, we adapt, we modify, we put one another use, we eliminate, we reserve. And then we have the reverse thinking. What is reverse thinking? Sometimes you feel your idea, it's so awesome. But sometimes challenge yourself, do the opposite of your idea. You understand? So you say, don't be just, like it is static, this is it, this is it. Sometimes think about the opposite of this idea. It will help you to generate fresh insight because now you have both sides of the verse and you need to identify what are the pros, what are the cons of, both sides, right? So think about the opposite. That's what we call reverse thinking, opposite perspective to challenge yourself. It's your own idea, but you're challenging yourself because someone else will use that against you. Okay. So when we talk about idea screening is a process whereby we evaluate, the ideas that we've gotten, and then we identify the most viable and most promising one. So maybe you have 300. After screening, doing all your analysis, using all of the process, brainstorming, mind mapping, and then you take out or you do the reverse thinking, you come back to say, okay, I have 10 ideas, but I think 2 will be feasible. So it is very important for you to be able to screen your idea. It helps you to allocate resources. Because if you don't screen the idea, you have a pool of idea, it becomes a problem. You need time, you need money, you need a team, you need so much to do or to maintain each of this idea. So it will make it becomes very feasible, and then your idea becomes what? Successful when you're able to screen them. And then secondly, it will help you to minimize and reduce the risk. Like I said, the likelihood of you investing in a wrong idea, this will help you to lower market risk, okay? And it also helps you to be focused, right? It helps us to be focused on something. So it enables the team to concentrate all our efforts to, okay, we've narrowed down to A, B, C. So we are now focused on A, B, C. So A, John should handle A. B, Brian, you take B. C, Cyprian, you take C. You understand? Dekule, you're handling the this. That is how it goes, right? But if you have pools of ideas, sometimes, I don't know, I've experienced that myself a lot in the company where we have so much going on at the same time. But because we have a system already, it is able for us now to, like 5 years ago when we're still doing things manual, it's just like so much going on at the same time. Then you need to ask, what am I doing today? There's so much to do, but you don't actually know what you're doing. Because when you're doing A, somebody is asking you, have you done Z? I'm like, no, I haven't, because there is no clear structure. So, but when we filter everything properly, we come to a place whereby it helps to allocate, it saves time. Everybody will be able to excel and showcase their skills and talents. Okay. So we have a way for you to do that. I don't know who knows about SWOT analysis. Everybody knows that, right? Is anyone, can you hear me, guys? Who knows about SWOT analysis? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
So do you know about SWOT analysis? If you don't know about SWOT analysis, it is maybe because you guys are into the tech. Yeah. So we have the SWOT analysis has to do with your strengths. It has to do with your weakness. It has to do with your opportunities and your threats. So I would want everyone to write it down. This is very important. It's a good take home. SWOT. All right. We apply SWOT analysis to our personal life. We apply it to our business. We even apply it to our relationship. We apply it to marriages or anything. So it is important to businesses, anything. So I handle, like, I do SWOT analysis even on a weekly basis. You understand? This week, what did I add? What is my strength this week? What is my weakness this week? What are my threats? So maybe I'm not writing it down, but between my mind on Sunday, I'm checking, like, would I be able to, this I can do. So when you're screening, when we say feasible analysis, that we will talk about, we're talking about the financial, right? This is the technical, we have the financial, we have the market feasibility, okay? So SWOT analysis, it helps us to evaluate your strengths. When we are talking about your strengths, your idea is your strength, okay? I have the idea, I have the team, I have the network. I think this solution is groundbreaking, it is new, it is niche, good. And then you look at your weakness. Is someone else doing it? Can it be easily copied? If I put this new company, now ideas are difficult for us to own them, right? If you open a new company and put it up on Facebook, they tell you it's good to have a social media account. It's good to have a social media. Once you open your social media account, that's the day you lose your idea. You know that, right? Because someone from China or any country can just copy paste the same model. You don't have to do anything. While you spent months, gathering knowledge, research just to come up with this idea. But the minute you put it out there on a social platform, it is no longer your idea. Okay. So this is also your weakness. You could say, can this idea be copied? Of course, yes, any idea can be copied. So what are your opportunities? Even if it's not copied within my region, what are my opportunities? If I say the first 6 months, the launch of every product, that's how we determine if it's going to be successful or something. Some products are slow, some products are fast, some of them become cash cow from the day they were launched. So from that, you'll be saying, okay, this is an opportunity. And then what are your threats? Your threats could be political, like the situation. It could be the financial situation in Nigeria with the dollar, the exchange rate, and all of this could be a downside for you. It could be maybe you have an application that has a pay later strategy. Will the pay later companies be able to work with you? So regulations can also be a threat to you. And then your competitors, who are the lions there to copy paste, they are also a big threat. So we also have the arrow WW, which is real, win, what it. Okay, assessing if the idea is real, if it can win in the market, or is it what pursuing. So when you do this, you will know that I'm screening the right idea. Is it real? Can I make it real? It's not just having the idea. Can it be real? Okay. If this comes into the market, will it be able to win in the market for, any time? Is it sustainable? And then is it worth it? So that's why we use the arrow WW. Okay. So when you look at a company like Google, I don't know if you've heard about one of the cultures of Google, for instance. Google have a system whereby 20% of time of the employees are allowed for them to, their personal time, work time on personal projects. So imagine working in a company. I really love, one of the companies that I love from a tech perspective is Google. Google has a very good system. Also Facebook, I love their organizational structure. They use a flat panel structure. So for instance, if you have an awesome idea, trust me, you can be able to talk to Mark Zuckerberg. So imagine Mark Zuckerberg's office, there is no hierarchy. So everybody can walk in. He's on a flat panel, you get. So whether you are from a low rank or high rank, you can be able to access the CEO. Same thing like Google. So Google will open up a space, their workspace, whereby lower staffs can, come up with idea and they can lead new products and start up, new projects for the company, even if they are new in the company, if their idea is worth it. So they have a place where they allow individuals to work themselves and do whatever they like for 20% of their time. So I don't know if you've seen any video of Google headquarters. You would notice that Google headquarters have the gym, they have a cafeteria, they have everything, like it's a playroom. People can take naps during working hours. It is allowed. So there is no system where they say 8 to 10, all this kind of no. So in Google, people work like in the morning, I'm doing 3 hours and then I just want to rest. I go sit somewhere, coffee time, have my me time. They allow that. They have pods, nice pods where they can go sleep, relax, for them to refresh and come up. So it has been very, very successful, right? So that is a case study of where we say people are brainstorming for idea. This is how Google explore their own opportunity, allowing their employees to spend 20% of their time on personal products. And this had led to innovations such as Gmail, Google Maps. Google has a handful of product lines currently. All of this came from employees' contribution. It's not like the company itself was doing something or the top head of the companies were coming up with, pools of ideas. No, it's the subordinates that are doing that. So what I'm saying is this: we have to look at different types. We're talking about the technical type of feasibility. Why are we looking at the technical type? Because when we look at this, we have to talk about my idea, how technical it is. Is it real? Is it accessible? Whether I can use it for business purposes, oh, yes, okay. So imagine what they are doing with SpaceX project from what's it called, Tesla and all of that. This involves high level of investment, development, and all. As it is now, Tesla have a handful of orders, and they have not been able. Some people are expecting to receive their Tesla cars in maybe 2025. Some people in 2028. Everybody wants to get a hand on it. So Tesla is not something that you just go buy anytime. A lot of people have booked for the Tesla trucks and all of that, right? This is a typical example of having technical feasibility, but people are trusting him with all of their money. Investors are paying in. Why? Why are they doing this? Okay, so you need to, if you want to have an idea, you have to see something that is feasible, right? In terms of technical feasibility, a proposed idea or innovation, it has to determine the development and the implementation. Like sometimes I see when Nigerians post things online, like you'll see a boy in Aba or, like any state, they would show you that this guy has developed something using paper boxes and all of that. And then you hear people in the comment section saying that if Nigeria is a good country now, this guy, they'll just sponsor him, they'll just fund him. Do you know how much it will cost, the technology behind it, if we want to make it a reality? You understand? This comes with maybe, yeah, if we have the investors that can be able to fund it. But from a personal perspective, the idea is awesome, but to make it a reality, it's difficult. I have seen someone in Africa building an airplane using just, what's it called? Tools from his house. He could, a car that can fly at the same time. We've seen all of those technologies, right? But why is it that it's not a reality? They have it, but because technically it is not feasible. It has to do with lots of research and development and funding involved. So imagine if I tell you, if that guy built something, I give him 100 million, will you be able to fly? Nobody wants to risk it in terms of safety policies, right? Even for an aeroplane to fly. That's why we don't have so much plane manufacturer company. We don't have so many companies manufacturing planes. Why? Why is it that countries don't just go ahead and start building their own planes? It's because of safety regulations, right? So when you're getting any idea, whatsoever your idea is, you need to know if it is realistic. So if you want to build an app, or if it is an app, it's easy, right? It will be build it and then they download it. But if you're now talking about a machine that you want to add technology into that machine, we're looking at artificial intelligence, you want to build. So when we talk about AI, now we have voice recognition system. How many robots do you see on the streets? Why is it that we don't have robots everywhere yet? Because it is expensive. When you watch the building, sometimes it takes 8 years to develop them to be able to get those results. So this is something that lots of people are investing for a longer period of time. Okay. They are not just investing short term, they are banking and saying, we believe SpaceX soon, there will be commercial this thing to space, to the moon. People can go to the moon. And then did you see the amount? Just to go to the moon will cost you around $100 and something thousand, right? Meaning, who are the target audience? Many of us will never go to the moon, even if they open SpaceX today, because we cannot afford it. It is $100,000+. We would have to think about our future and our lives and ask ourselves, is it worth it? You could see what happened a few months ago. Ocean One, right? If I'm not mistaken, is it Ocean One? Who heard about the case of the submarine that went missing? Who heard about it? You guys heard about it on the news, right? Where they had billionaires and then they went to the submarine. Yes, right. Yeah, you heard that, right? So imagine, what would a billionaire be doing there? So if that's not the project, this is a project that they have invested millions and billions of dollars, right? Ocean Gate, it's not a small company. The value of Ocean Gate is worth billions of dollars. People have invested so much. I bet you those billionaires were not going there just for a tour. Someone is trying to put them into Ocean Gate. Someone has made proposals to them and telling them how good of this idea, how we can get people to the bottom, right? And then there was an explosion. Nobody meant for that to happen. It has been successful. They didn't just pick the billionaires to do the trial of Ocean Gate. No, they have done it before. They have gone to the bottom before several times. They've had technical glitch and all. But when it comes to safety regulations, it was after that incident that a lot of people came and said, even the people, the staffs, people working in the company said they did not meet the safety standard to operate. They ignored the safety warnings, right? These are now, we say, technical and, glitch, right? Now it's Ocean Gate, a company that is worth billions of dollars. If you had invested in that project, what would be your call now? It is not going to happen. It is something that the government in America is going to put, it will just be dead for now. Nobody's going to talk going to the bottom of the sea or whatever it is. There will be lots of, what's it called? The department responsible for safety and all will definitely increase the requirements for any company that has to do with anything about submarines, going to the bottom of the Titanic and all of that, right? This calls for a thing where they say safety, they now put people before yourself. So some of your ideas might be wonderful, but regulations will not be wonderful for you because safety concerns, it is not achievable. You don't have the financial strength to be able to build such technology. Okay, like what Tesla did. We could see that what's it called? Google and other people are trying to have self-driving cars, all those things. This involves lots and lots of cash involved. China is having self-driving cars, but up to date, it's happening in some places in America. Like recently, I don't know how true the news was. We're going to be having flying cars in California. Okay, so the federal road and whatever just approved. But before you will approve that, they will need to know like how many, what's the latitude, and all of this would been put into consideration to make it a reality. If we start having flying cars, yes, it is possible, but the cost for building such idea, it's something that it has to do with lots of investments, right? So even if you're coming up with an idea today, you need to watch out for your technical feasibility. Why is it important? It helps you for risk mitigation. It helps you identify technical challenges and obstacles earlier before even you start developing any technology or any system, okay? And it helps you for what's it called, resource allocation. So you would know that for research and development, this is what I'll be, for equipment and all, this is what I'll be doing. For this, you will help to allocate funding and all towards your ideas with the likelihood of what success, right? And then it will help you to enhance your decision making. If you have good technical feasibility, it will provide you critical information for stakeholders, for your shareholders, so you can inform them on the decision about moving forward with this idea. Because some people get what it's called seed investment. So people invest in your company just with the idea, right? So for you to be able to meet an investor with a company that is a startup, you don't have it yet, you're just there, you just have the idea. For someone to trust you, you would have done all of this. So you need to highlight that even in your presentation, to say for technical feasibility, we have been able to do this, so the investor can be pleased. Okay. And then some of the factors in technical feasibility: availability of the technology. You need to know if your technology is available, whether the technology you're aiming to start, it's already existing, or it will need to be developed. Okay, sometimes you want to build a software, even some softwares take 3 years. Some people code for 2 to 3 years, coming up with something new and wonderful or fantastic. Like they said, do you know how much it costs to run chat GTP per day? It's around $10 million to run chat GTP per day, right? Per day. So the company, someone was like, oh, ChatGPT will not be able to survive for the next 10 years. But when you look at the math, it's able to survive even the next how many years? Because 10 million per day, we look at that math, 10 million times 360, that's already 360. And then they have around 40 billion in dollar investments. Are they profitable? They said no, they are not profitable yet. ChatGPT is not profitable yet. But they need around $10 million. Can you imagine that kind of company that runs on $10 million investment per day? Right? This is what we're talking about. So because this technology is not available, it's something that is new. It needs, money to develop and long time frame for them to be able. And then secondly, you need to know about the expertise and skills that you would need to build any of this technology, any of your idea. Okay. Maybe you are from the back end, maybe you need the front end, maybe you need somebody from a physician, or you need someone from medical. You need to know the expertise that you would need to build some softwares. Some medical softwares, they have to get doctors, physicians, psychologists, all those things involved, right? And then infrastructure and resources. You need to know the kind of facilities that you would need for you to be able to develop. And finally, you have to know about the regulatory, what's compliance. You don't just go start building anything. You need to check what are the regulations, so you don't end up building and then the government in Nigeria will tell you, sorry, we don't allow Bitcoin in our country. Your application has this, and then you're shut down. Okay. So that is just one of it. So we've talked about Tesla's, this thing, and then we've talked about SpaceX in terms of their reusable rockets, for instance. And then we've looked out for Google self-driving, right? So then we have to look about the what? Financial feasibility. So when we talk about financial feasibility, we're looking at what you're building. Is it, the return on investment? Like we said, Microsoft is banking on ChatGTP. Yeah. But today we now have a lot of AI softwares. So it's not only ChatGTP we have a handful of softwares. Leonardo Lab, like my friend is one of the founders of Leonardo Lab. He's even Yoruba, right? So recently, last week, I saw on his Instagram, he came publicly to ask for funding, okay, because they are running out of cash in building Leonardo Lab. I don't know if you've heard about Leonardo Lab. It's a cloning. It will help you for content creators, and also I could just put up my videos. It helps for voicing, and then it will help me to upload videos without myself. It's an automation video stuff, right? So he came out last week publicly to ask for funding because, yeah, they've gotten investments, millions of dollar investment of $5 million, but it is not enough. It is not enough. And whoever that has given is still asking, when am I going to get my return? What is the usage currently? If you go to his link and you ask him that you want to use Leonardo, he's asking you to pay from 500 to $10,000 for you to just have course on Leonardo Lab, right? So this is something that people are, as in he came out publicly to say, oh, we're looking for public shareholders to come in, join our, join to support this, to make it a reality. They had to come to public because that is part of the ways to raise funding. So I don't see anything wrong. They say you could crowd fund, you could go to your family, you could go to your friends. Yeah, so he's doing the friends things, people he knows from his platform on social platforms, because he's an influencer, he's a digital nomad, right? So he's coming out to his social platform and asking for investors. So for the financial aspect, when we're talking about the financial aspect, we have to evaluate the idea to it if it can be developed based on your budget, or you will be having budget constraints. Okay, so if you know that it is not going to be, it's something that you will do 2 months and then you're done, you'll be everywhere looking for money, you have to take a break. I am building an e-commerce platform since 2012, right? Or so, sorry, last year, since 2022. It's been a year. I'm not, rushing to anywhere. I'm going slow and steady, right? Because why? I don't want to just rush and collect money from investors. And it will now be, when will the app be ready? So me and my team, we decided that since we have the knowledge, we have the background, we have the tech team, we have the UI, UX, so let's just do it ourselves for now and go slow and steady. And we have our timeline. The app is going to be ready in this month and that month. So every day, everybody's working behind the scene. So we're doing it closely based on our budgets. Okay. When it is ready, then we can now ask for investment. So we don't face what budget issues, pressure ourselves and say, I want it to be ready in 6 months. We started since last year. We're going slowly. Yes, we know our competitors can come, but we will still position ourselves because we have our own competitive advantage. That's why we're doing it, right? So first, you need to look at the budget management. What is your return on investment? This will help you to estimate the potential financial returns and the benefit of your innovation. So before we, like now, I cannot show you here. So if I show you how we're projecting for our return on investment, even the fact that I haven't taken any money from anybody, I have already projected the users. We will need to set realistic goals. Okay, we're expecting that at the launch of our products, an e-commerce platform, we're even saying we need only 500 users. We don't want to say, oh, because Nigeria is big, we're going to Africa, we need 2 million or 10 million. It's not possible. Set a goal that is realistic. 500, meaning we have to do lots of marketing to get them on board, right? Each of these 500 users, we're saying each of these customers from Nigeria, a wholesaler, will be able to buy around $200 or $300 per month. This is realistic because some of the wholesalers buy even 10,000. No, they buy $100,000. We don't want 100,000. We want to make it realistic so the investor can understand that I am not telling you because I know people would buy for 100,000. They are not yet my customers. So I want to tell you something that I know it's possible. I would say $300 per month. This is realistic, right? So with that, I'm able to project my return on investment. If you give me $1 million, if you give me $300,000 to start up, to invest in Shopindo, I now have an analysis on this is what I'm using the money for research and development, for this. Since we've already done research and development, we've already built the app, we're doing the hosting office, we already have office space. So lots of those things are taken away from us. We'll now know, okay, promotion and marketing, when the app is done, we're spending 100,000. This 100,000, we have to really break down to know that we get results. Okay. And then now I'm telling the investor that year one, for the first 5 years, this is what is happening. So when you will start getting your money will be on the 5th to 6th year. Because if you give me 300,000, I cannot give you back the next year, right? I need it to run the business. So I'm telling you that in the next 6 years, I will be able. This is why it is important. Even before you start building the app, whether it's pre-seed or idea, whatever, you can draw up an analysis. So you know the cost of setting up the app, you know the cost of running it. You would need staff, the marketing, the promotion, the places you would use, how much for Google. Like when you're building a mobile application, there are lots of APIs that we needed to pay for. Currently, we're paying for a handful of APIs, right? Some of them we need them now. Some of them we need them when the app is ready. Like what's it called? Is it Plivo, the SMS, bulk SMS, auto this translator? You understand? Integrating to what's it called? Logistics, right? So many APIs that you have to add up there. But all of this we need to analyze. Even before we started, we already knew the cost. So nothing is new for us. And before we got to where we are and we had to pick which one we will be using, we already listed out all the options we had, right? And then we had to filter them and say, okay, this is better than this. This is based on cost-effective measures. Let's go for this one or this other one, right? So, and then you have to, when you are able to do that, you would know your risk assessments. You would know your financial risk, uncertainties that will be involved, okay? So what are the key factors? Like I said, cost estimation, right? We have a revenue projection. We have the return on the investment, and then the financial resources. It is important for whether you're a tech person or anything you like, you call yourself. It is very important for you to have financial feasibility. Okay. So if you look, Apple will conduct a thorough financial feasibility analysis before investing in any development or groundbreaking iPhone. You see, people don't just jump in, right? If you look at Amazon, for instance, Amazon analyzed their Prime membership program, and it become a significant revenue model. Amazon, is it not an e-commerce platform? How come Amazon is now having Prime this thing, something like to compete with their competitors, Netflix and all, right? It's because they've analyzed it, financially. We build it, and we have the customer base. We could see how people can use the Prime TV Prime program, right? So there are various methods for you to analyze your financial feasibility. All right, we have the cost benefit analysis, which is comparing costs, like I said. We have the payback period. That could be like you're calculating the time it takes for a project to return and to cover their initial investment. And then we have the MPV, which stands for the net present value, which is accessing the present value of the cash flow, right, generated by the innovation. So you would know, like if I have 300 or 500 customers, I can just, we have an Excel sheet where we normally have this thing. So we have about 10 slides. One is focused on this, like, let me just open this. We call it our revenue stream, okay? It's called revenue stream for shopping the revenue stream. That's all. So we made it, I didn't do it myself, actually. So we didn't do it ourselves. It was done by a professional, okay? So it's not something that you just go out there and build yourself. Yes, we give them the hint of this is what we're expecting, this is what we want, but they will now be able to analyze it, and then they made it so easy for us that even if we adjust, it will auto-calculate, right? So maybe tomorrow we say we want to increase our revenue stream. For instance, how do we make money? How do your app make money? So we make money from subscription, we make money per transactions, we make money from ads, membership, promos, all those different strategies that we set up to make revenue. So we can be now able to calculate out of 500 customers that we're targeting, if the revenue is this can help us to have the MPV, okay, analysis for that, right? So do you have any question up till now? Anyone wants to ask me anything before I continue to the last one, which is the market feasibility?
Okay, guys, does anyone have questions? If you have questions, please ask. If you don't, then you should proceed. Okay, so I assume that nobody has questions. You can proceed now.
Yeah. So that is it for the financial feasibility. So if you look, another case that is very interesting is Netflix, right? Netflix started by creating their own, collecting people's content where people can go watch. And then, within the process, it's so interesting how setbacks or roadblocks in business or regulations can create ideas, right? So Netflix started out by collecting movies from every source, right? And they are paying Warner Bros, all the big names to have their movies on Netflix. But at some point, it became difficult because some of the production companies are now, becoming difficult for them to negotiate. They charge them so much. Who knows what Netflix did? Which of you knows what Netflix did with their strategy? So Netflix came up with their own content, right? Now you can see Netflix original. Now, do Netflix actually need, okay, if you say you premiere on a cinema and you premiere on Netflix, which one will have more views? It is Netflix. If you premiere on Netflix, yes, Netflix, of course, right? So imagine before Netflix has to go beg the blockbusters for them to give access to their movies, right? But today, Netflix don't. They just started investing in their own content. Do you know Netflix sponsor? It's only Nigeria that is having some issues with Netflix sponsoring our kind of movies because our contents are not really cash cows. Because you cannot just this year alone, Netflix invested around maybe 60 or how many billion, about $7 billion to Korea content, right? Because it's a cash cow to them, right? You saw what happened with Squid Game. It's Netflix original. Do you know how much that was one of the most watched videos on planet Earth? And then this Netflix original, is it Bridgerton or something like that, right? So these are things that Netflix now see a way to control their own content by demonstrating a strong financial feasibility strategy. Instead of going to beg people to give me content, they had to take the risk. It is high risk. For me, I felt like at the initial, I imagine when someone would say, why don't we? No, it's too expensive to create one movie, that kind of thing, right? But now Netflix is creating millions of movies. They are even taking out what is not theirs. Like last week, I turned on my Netflix and I saw a notification that I should watch this particular thing because leaving Netflix soon. Can you imagine? So these are not their original content. So they could kick you out of Netflix anytime they want, right? That's the disadvantage. Now they have control. The big names need them. The same thing happened with Dubai. Dubai asked for what's it called? Disney to open in Dubai. Disney refused. They're like Middle East. They had too many conditions, terms and conditions. What did the founder of Dubai do? They built Dubai land. The same thing like Disney, right? So today, everybody goes to Dubai. People go there, and they've forgotten what it looks like to have Disney. There's no Disney. It would have been better if Disney was in Dubai, right? But Disney was trying to maybe managements and all, policies, and then Dubai had to build their own Dubai land. It's the same thing, better quality maybe, right? Better management, more location because the number of traffic coming to Dubai it's also high. They have the market, so why not? So that is a take. So for the financial feasibility, it is very crucial for everyone to ensure that you put this in your project. It is completed before you even start anything, okay? And then market feasibility. We have to examine the demand, the competition, right? We have to look at the potential market share and the proposed technology. So if you're coming into a market, we're talking about you're looking about what's it called, you focus more on evaluating the market, your idea, if there is a demand, if you will have customers, because you cannot just go to any market if you don't have target audience, if you don't have a demand, if there is no need for whatever you're building. So that's why so many applications, so many softwares, wonderful software failed because there is no demand for it. It's just like building a technology for people in my village. A lot of them don't even have access to smartphones, not to talk about having, what's it called? Access to technology or know how to download an app, right? So even in Nigeria currently, there are audiences where you build software for market women to say how to sell, how farmers can, like in Indonesia now, we now have lots of farmers applications where people use technology to connect you directly to farmers in the rural areas. So now they are now having trainings and all, teaching these farmers how to use these technologies. The people now have a team on ground helping the farmers to upload their products, so you can sort product directly from the customers using an app. And that company was funded by the biggest what's it called, ride company here in Indonesia, right? So they have good funding, and they saw the potential, and then they know that Indonesia has lots of farmers in rural areas and lots of markets, so it's difficult for people to source product, right, directly from the vendors. So now it is cheaper with this app, because it's not just building to say you're connecting them to direct suppliers, and then the price is still the same thing like them buying from their local vendors. So if you're connecting me directly to the supplier, then I should be having a very good price for me to be able to change from my supplier. So that's what that application is doing. But the downside, the farmers are not tech inclined. So the company has to have a team on ground, lots of training, make them to have smartphones, teach them how to use them, have a team that will help them to upload their products. This comes with a lot of work, right? But there is a market. So if you build an application that the people are unable to use it, then it becomes a problem, right? So that is also, it is important for you to identify, it helps you to identify genuine need for your proposed product or your service. And we talked about risk mitigation. It will help you to reduce the risks of launching a product or a service that may not resonate to what is your target audience or your competitors or whatever everybody's doing, okay? And then it helps you to keep you an edge on your competitive advantage, identifying opportunities. It will help you to differentiate yourself from your competitors. So be able to use a market feasibility strategy. First, there are different factors. You have to understand your target market. Secondly, you have to do what is called target market analysis. We have that in business, understanding the demographics. We have to understand the preference. We have to have behavior. We have behavioral marketing. And then you need to identify your target audience. We identify target audience based on demographic, their likes, women, men, are you selling babies? You need to know what kind of babies, like that. And secondly, you would have to do with the competitive analysis. You would look at existing competitors, potential marketing barriers. There are lots of barriers to entry. Lots of barriers to entry. Even me, myself here, setting up an e-commerce in Africa, reading the regulations sometimes like, how do you enter? There are lots of regulations in Nigeria that you'll be shocked they exist. And maybe your application might want to go, be cross-border to Ghana or so many places. You would also face barriers to entries. And then customer validation. This is also, you need to get feedback from potential customers to validate your concept. So that's why, like I said at the initial, if you send a souvenir or a questionnaire, sorry, you'll be able to get information from people that are already using something close, or they might want to use something close. So for instance, Tesla has electric vehicles, right? They did conducted an extensive market research before even launching their electric vehicles, because it's changed the way the automotive industries is going to be. Why was it able to, what's it called? Carbon fossils and all of that. People are looking for green carbon, people are looking for the future. We're looking at pollution. That's why many countries are adapting. Tesla's innovation was groundbreaking because it is something new, it is something refreshing. And there's something about Elon Musk that I loved. There is no patent to this particular idea. So he's not telling you don't do it. You're free to do your own. That's why we now have competitors. People are now doing electrical vehicles and copying his idea, because he refused to make it a patent whereby nobody will be able to touch it or do anything to it until 100 years, because this is my idea. It's just like Microsoft, Apple, and all. They have their patent. You're not able to alter or touch their technologies, their groundbreaking technology, but he opened his own technology for people. And that has really changed the automotive industry. Another one you look out for is the Airbnb, right? They did an in-depth market research, because, for instance, when you travel from one place to another, the only place where you could stay, it's a hotel, right? So, and there are lots of people that have homes that they don't even live in those cities. Why just lock up your home? They don't want to rent it out on a long term. They're looking for short lets. That is the revolution of short lets today. Even in Nigeria today, I believe 5 years ago, we didn't have short lets, but today there is short lets everywhere in Nigeria because of Airbnb. So it was a disruptive accommodation model. All right. So what are the methods for assessing market feasibility? We talked about it. Surveys and questionnaires. You can have a focus group. A focus group, it's you could get people to discuss and dive deeper into their insights and their opinion. Okay, and then you could also look at market trend analysis. You have to study the trends, consumer behavior, and then emerging technologies that are already existing. So this will also help you a lot. All right. So this is just a mind map. I want to show you how to brainstorm. You could use your pen and paper, right, to brainstorm. So for sometimes like me, I just go here and I draw all of this kind of circles, something like this. You don't need to have, you just use this method to brainstorm as well. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Digital brainstorming, it's like stimulating innovation through what? Collaboration, right? So this is what we have. You could have, your main idea, and then you have all the sub ideas, all of the set. You can you need to use a timer. It's, set a timer, when you're brainstorming, it's necessary so you don't get lost in the process. And then you add idea A. I want to make bread, from bread. Only from the bread, I'm making bread that has a sausage inside. And then from the sausage bread, I would want to create another recipe, sausage and this, so you just keep building ideas that you would end up filtering later. And then this is the concept of mind mapping. So for mind mapping, we have the virtual representation, we have collaboration, we have flexible structure. You have to be using topics and relationship between them, okay? So this would also help, right? And then this is kind of a review of action. You could allocate things to people. You don't need to use a computer for this, okay? For brainstorming and mind mapping. You could draw it the same way for the UI UX, right? You guys do that for UI UX, for the wireframe. Yes, they do that for UI UX, for the wireframe and all. So you could do that as well for actions, and that's okay. This is the summary of mind mapping. So feel free to ask me any question. And that is all for me for today. So please ask questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay. I love what was true for today, and it was really
I think it will be echoing because you're closer. So let me just try to.
So, what I really want to ask is, what type of tools can you use in making research when it comes to development or production? What kind of tools can you use in making research? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. So I said before that there are various ways that we could, collect data, which is primary, secondary, qualitative, and quantitative, right? So for you that is small and you're just, first you have the World Wide Net, which is Google, okay? That is a good place. So whatever idea you have, put it out there and ask application for doing this. And Google will tell you if these things are already existing, or those apps will even come out and say download them, right? That is also research, being a user yourself. If you don't get that kind of information. Secondly, you collect data from the people around you directly from the original source, which is interview people. I want to build an app, hear their opinion, talk with your friends, talk with your families for a small group. That's why it's called focus group. You talk to people. You can invite 2, 3 people. Say, what do you think about this, my idea? And then let them say, let them criticize you. It is part of it. Don't get angry. Okay? When they criticize you, be happy. Because that's where you're getting all the, these are things that will prevent you from making mistake. Right? So don't get angry. Even they say, what kind of stupid application is that? Of course, it might look stupid at the end of the day when you finish building it. Right? So you take, and you can ask, what makes it stupid? Person will say, because of this. And you just, write that down, go back and still review. You could have an, what's it called, observation. You could also do what is called secondary data, like I said. Check on the internet. There are lots of informations, research work, about whatever you're trying to do. There is information about it. So those are secondary datas. Then if you're looking at, okay, I'm building this because I see the problem. Like last time, you people were talking about building an application for the community, how people in the community can sell things within themselves. I asked you, did you do a research? Would the people want to just buy things from themselves, like AJ Market, right? Did you do a questionnaire to ask people if they would use the app? Even if it's 20 people, no matter how big AJ is, you can decide to say AJ North, South, West, East. Let me take 5 people here, 5 people here, 5 people, and hear their opinion. You're not building the app for yourself. You're building it for the community, and you need to hear their opinion. You could, even if you don't give them the questionnaire, you could draw up the questionnaire yourself and go meet them, read it to them, let them say it, and then you tick. Maybe they are not educated, or you could do that, right? And also, you also have to look at the other side, like when we talk about feasibility, right? Technological feasibility. Are you now selling AJ outside? Like I asked like that. People will be buying something from AJ community to Lagos or, other places. So you're now selling all products. That will be an awesome idea, because your target audience are not people living in AJ. Your target audience are Lagosians. So you could deliver your product. But you still need their opinion, right? Because people's perceptions, stereotypes, and all might play a role. All of these, we look into business. If I want to open a company here, if I'm opening a bar as a Black person in Asia, I need to know what people will say about me when they find out that the bar is being owned by a Black person. I need to imagine what the police will think about my bar because I'm Black. They might have the wrong perception because their stereotype is Black people do drugs, right? So anything about me, maybe that place will be where undercover police will come and be sitting all the time, right? Because they have this perception that Black people do drugs. Okay, why I'm not even doing drugs, I'm just having a restaurant or something. But because that's their perception. So that could trigger wrong attitude towards people. So even if you want to sell it, there are so many ways you could position yourself. It could be, oh, okay, we are in AJ. This is an e-commerce platform in AJ. We're using this to help our community grow. Products from our community grow. Okay, that could be the initiative. So people can connect, right? And then from there, you can expand it to something bigger. But you need to ask questions. Do people want it? You're not building it for yourself. It's not for your friends and just yourself. You're building it because you want to make money. And it's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you money to build the app. You need external plugins. You need to host it as well. All those things involve cash. So I don't know if I've answered your questions, right? Gabriel has a question. Yeah, Gabriel, I cannot hear you.
Okay. First of all, thank you for this section. I want to ask. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I said when you build an app, let's say you build an app or a solution. Uh, okay. Like when you build an app or a solution, when you build an app for a solution, okay, aside sorting out for investor to fund your project, to fund your application, is there another means to like sort out for fund? I don't know if you get my question.
Yeah, I get your question. There are various ways to get money outside investor. They say first you start with your family and friends. Secondly, you can get a loan for a bank if you have something, and then you can now look out for the investor. That is why you need to check out for the financial feasibility. Like you said, when you build an app, no, don't build an app without getting a clear picture what will be the financial cost. You cannot start without getting that on paper. Even if you say the cost of building this app will only cost me 500,000 naira, come rain, you have to put it around 1 million because you don't know other things that will be involved. And you have to, when you say 500K, you have to be very detailed. Not 500K that you forgot to add something else. At the end of the day, 500K, it's gone. The app is not a reality. So even before building the app, you should know the budget before you start looking for the investor or looking for means to raise fund. So if now I know that next year I'm building an application, it's going to cost me 50 million naira. I don't have it, right? Now you know 50 million naira, you don't have it. But this is the plan. The bank can give you loan from ideas, but they need to see your return on investment. When will I get my money back? Is it going to be a floppy idea? Elon Musk did not buy Twitter on cash. He paid with the bank. It's very easy for them because they just get bonds and all from the banks, right? So it's the same thing we're saying here. Before you build, make sure you do the financial analysis so you don't get yourself into trouble. Sometimes wonderful ideas are being kept hanging because they failed to do a proper analysis. So not everybody is lucky to get an investor at the initial. So what if you don't have an investor at the initial? Are you going to let the idea die? You understand? You have to still keep going, right? That's where you come with expertise to say, oh, do I have a friend? Would I want to collaborate? Should I just sell this idea to somebody like a takeover to an existing company already? You can do that. There are lots of tech companies in Nigeria currently. You could go to their office and say, you have this is my business model. I've built this. They could have similar, not 100%, but you feel if they buy your technology or if they get you involved in their space, it could be beneficial to them with what you have produced. So you could talk to them. That's also another way to sell off, right? Or you ask, I would get a job here, and then this particular application, you fund it, you finish it, let me have a share, a percentage on this particular product line. It's possible. So it must not be only investor, family, bank, there's crowdfunding, church. You can even go to church to crowdfund for loans. You could call people that Alibaba built Alibaba with 19 people, right? They said, if you read the history of Alibaba wasn't built from the bank. Alibaba was built in the house. He invited people, about 40 people, for crowdfunding. A lot of them, ignored his idea and walked away. About 19 people stayed and gave him their money, right? So it's the same thing. You could gather people that would say, okay, yeah. You shouldn't be scared to call even, very high-end people. You go to them, write a proposal. If you need help to write them a proposal, an official, when they're coming out, good morning, sir. Sir, please, I would love to talk to you about my, my project, about my business, me and my team. We don't know when you'll be chance. It could be in the evening. You could do your presentation even in a beer parlor. It doesn't matter. Anywhere. I met my co-founder in the club. Okay, so it could be anywhere, right? The minute I came outside, I had to explain my business to him, right? I've heard about him, and I was so happy that he was there. So everybody was drinking alcohol. My eyes was wide open, waiting to talk to him because I knew that's somebody I would want to work with, right? So you could even hang anywhere, beer parlor, whatever. Chairman, good day, sir. Good day, sir. These people, there are people in Nigeria that wants to invest in sincere people. Don't give up. It's because people are not everybody is having this my business mindset. Don't have my business mindset if you want to grow. You have an idea, be open for people to come in. The idea is not about you. You're creating a solution. So this is not about you. You're creating value for the community, for the society. Somebody needs to use it. So even when you're naming your company, don't call your company Gabriel Nigeria Limited. No. Okay, you understand? Call it something that is tech inclined. You could even go. I would send Bookie a site. There is a site where you see lots of investors online. There are lots of sites, angelinvestor.com, right? So the problem is they're asking you for your prototype and all, how much for this. You upload your stuff. You try every means. You try every means. There are grants that are ready for people that are eligible for it, for funding as well. There are places where you meet directly to investor.com. You talk to the investors directly, chatting with them. So they are already smart people. They don't have time. So if your model is bad, they just wave and go to the next one. So that's why I say it is important for you to know this topic. So you are answering what they want to hear. Have you done your research properly? I'm building this disease. Who wants it? That's the thing we want to know. Who wants it? Okay. So any question else?
Okay, guys. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. That's really been a very insightful session, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that each and everyone here benefited a lot of knowledge. So please let's put our hands together for
Thank you so much. And then for our next section, we're talking about intellectual property and legal consideration. It is very important, but especially you tech guys, you know. So we'll be talking about IP, patents, copyright, trademark, legal structure for venture capital. A lot of you are going to make mistakes when you share your shares. Initial stage, my application, because you're desperate looking for investor. An investor will just come and say, I want 80% because you're desperate, you know. I will give you 5 million naira. You just hear 5 million naira and boom, sell off your idea. You understand? And then the next thing, the company is valued on 200 million in naira in 6 months. And then you only got 5 million. And then the next thing, they kick you out, right? And own the company. A lot of people lose their company to that. So it is very important. And then we talk about the LLC, corporation. We will look at contracts, licensing, agreements in technopreneurship. So you guys are vulnerable, but you need to at least have background knowledge, you know. So even if your idea is booming, if you don't want to listen to IT Bookie for sometimes, you want to say, this guy wants to invest in me. Remember that next topic will be very important. You remember that somebody warned you not to just, you know, you want to sign, you want funding. The maximum I can go for a company, if you check Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg only have 12% as big as that company, and he's one of the richest people. So imagine if he had 50%, what he would be on planet Earth. Only 12%. Some people, CEOs, have 6%. Even Tesla, Elon Musk is around 8%. 8% only. And then imagine you starting up your company, somebody is asking you for 80%. Some investors, they know that you're vulnerable. That is what you won't blame them. That's what they do for a living. It's their own business model. The same way your business model is to build product, their own business model is to take, is to win more shares. So they are not criminals, or you can call them all but that's their business model. The bigger they get, the bigger chump they get, the better for them. The faster they kick you out, the better for them, right? It's their own model. So it's aggressive model. That's why people hate them. Oh, these people are evil. These investors, they're not evil. That is their model. So you understand that they are not evil people. So next time we'll talk about this. Hopefully it will be next week. By the same time, we'll be looking at intellectual property, IP, and all of that. It is very important. Right.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And I can tell you are all aching for that next session. Thank you for
Yes, I cannot wait to.
and we look forward to next week. So you all are very interested in your event by next week. So please, that means you need to join on time. Anyway, whatever challenges, we know that will resolve soon. But then let's ensure that we are here on time and then we gain in valuable knowledge that will set us apart. Thank you so much once again, Esther, for your time. Really appreciate your giving out your time. We know it's expensive for you to come up here and then we will just share with our community. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you by next week, Friday. 12 p.m. or if there's a shift time at 2 p.m. I'm sure we communicate. Thank you so much. Let's put our hands together.
The Thank you so much and have a wonderful day, everyone.